My name is Vince Reincke, and we're south of Decatur here a little bit in Christian and Montgomery County, Illinois. Ag Partners is the name of the business we operate under, and so we appreciate the opportunity to work with 360 on some of the products that they've allowed us to try, as well as the products we continue to use. So we talk about today the chain roll that we tried, that we worked with last year in the beta test on the North Star head, or the Geringhoff North Star head. We run a couple of Geringhoff heads. Actually, we started with a Rota Disk Geringhoff head, and appreciate the way that the Rota Disk always sized the material, left it in some sort of a shape and size that both the microbial activity could be promoted, the breakdown of the stalk could be promoted, as well as it was not too small of a piece that we couldn't move it again next spring. We could do something with it to get it out of the way and keep some of those diseases in the small corn plant kind of out of the problem there, out of the way. So we were looking for something that would replicate that, but in a little less complex way. The Rota Disk is a pretty complex process, and it usually is a little intensive on parts and labor and cost, and so we were looking for a better way to accomplish a similar thing. And fortunately speaking, when we got the opportunity to try the chain roll on our North Star Geringhoff head, which is traditionally just a pinch type snapping roll or stalk roll, we were able to virtually replicate the consistency of the sizing, as well as the puncturing or the splitting of the stalk that we get with the Rota Disk. There's only a small difference, which is the Rota Disk deposits the stalk in the middle. All of the foliage gets deposited, sized and deposited in the middle of the row, versus the chain roll drops everything right on top of the roll. So that's an important difference to note, depending on what your system looks like after the harvest process. But either way, we were fortunate to, the folks at 360 brought us a product that was able to replicate that Rota Disk approach and the Rota Disk quality and consistency in a way less complex system. Not going to be as intensive on parts and labor, and the need to change and or adjust the Rota Disk head is pretty intensive in terms of making sure you keep it adjusted for cutting purposes. It does a fantastic job, and from a horsepower perspective, we don't use much extra horsepower. Rota Disk, or now, the chain roll doesn't either. So it's been a good experience. We've been happy with the outcome, and look forward to continuing to run that chain roll on our North Star head going forward.